Y'all, this is not just a divorce anymore. This is a full-blown celebrity war. What started as quiet court papers has now exploded into cheating rumors, secret women, custody battles, and a scandal so messy it's ripping this family apart in real time. Todd Tucker isn't just fighting for the kids. He's allegedly fighting for control, money, and everything Kandi Burruss built from the ground up. Court filings, scheduling wars, financial disputes, accusations flying from every direction. And just when people thought it couldn't get uglier, boom. Funky Dineva drops a bombshell that nobody saw coming. A secret mistress. A hidden woman. A name that starts with H. And suddenly the internet goes silent, then erupts. Because now it's not just divorce drama, it's betrayal. We're talking about late-night calls. Alleged sneaking around. Conversations happening behind Kandi's back while she's out working, hustling, providing for everyone. And sources claim she had no idea. None. Imagine building an empire with someone, only to find out there might have been another woman the whole time. And here's where it gets darker. Todd is still pushing for custody, still pushing for assets, while these alleged affair receipts are surfacing. So now fans are asking one brutal question. Was this love, or was this strategy? Because when a marriage turns into a courtroom battlefield and a mistress name starts leaking online, trust me, this isn't heartbreak anymore. This is destruction. And what Funky Dineva reveals next, it might completely blow this divorce wide open.
I'm gonna bring no extra stress and duress around Kandi house. So I'ma hold it.
What began as a standard celebrity divorce has now shifted into something far more calculated. According to newly surfaced court filings, Todd Tucker is not stepping back quietly. Instead, he is pushing aggressively to be designated as the temporary primary custodial parent. And that detail alone changes the tone of this entire situation. Because custody battles aren't emotional arguments, they're strategic moves. Todd's legal stance is clear. He claims he has been the consistent caregiver, the one managing school routines, the transportation, the daily supervision, the structure. While Kandi Burruss was reportedly traveling for Broadway and other out-of-state commitments, he says he was the one physically present. On paper, that argument carries weight. But context matters. Sources close to the situation suggest that tensions escalated over travel decisions made without mutual agreement. Holiday scheduling conflicts reportedly intensified disputes. Todd has denied blocking access to the children. Instead, he claims disagreements stemmed from lack of consultation. That distinction is important, because in family court, intent can change everything. Yet behind the legal wording, something else was brewing. Financial friction. Insiders suggest disputes over shared expenses, property access, and contribution responsibilities began surfacing long before divorce papers were filed. There are claims still unverified that household costs, children's expenses, and even property use became points of quiet resentment. The guest house, the scheduling, the division of financial responsibility. And then another layer surfaced. Not in court, online. Because just as this legal chess match intensified, Funky Dineva stepped into the frame. Not with documents, but with insinuation. And timing. Midway through his commentary, his tone shifted. Less analytical, more deliberate. And then came this warning.
Here's the thing. If I know who you are, and if the information got to me, it's only a matter of time. I'm giving it by next Wednesday before your face is plastered all over the internet.
That wasn't speculation. That was a countdown. A public notice directed at someone he referred to only as Miss H. No full name, no face, just an initial. But in today's digital environment, an initial is enough to ignite wildfire. At this point, the divorce narrative shifted from custody and financial disputes to potential betrayal. According to circulating claims, and it is important to stress these are allegations, Kandi allegedly discovered that Todd had been communicating with other women before filing for divorce. Quietly, privately, without her knowledge. If true, that reframes the custody battle entirely. Because now the question isn't just about parenting schedules. It's about trust and motive. Why push aggressively for custody at the same time rumors of a hidden woman begin surfacing? Why escalate legal demands while online whispers grow louder? These are questions fans have started asking. But Funky Dineva didn't stop at implication.
You might want to get your ducks and your story in a row, because the way the internet is finna come eat you alive over Kandi Burruss, you gonna wish you never even winked.
That statement wasn't casual commentary. It was targeted. It suggested not just communication, but emotional involvement. Possibly more. And here is where the narrative becomes darker. Because if there was indeed another woman, and again, this remains alleged, then the timeline becomes critical. Was this before the custody dispute intensified? Was it during Kandi's work commitments? Or did suspicion trigger the divorce filing itself? No official confirmation has been released. But silence can be just as loud as accusation. Meanwhile, Todd has maintained his legal position focuses solely on stability for the children. His filings emphasize structure, routine, continuity. Yet critics argue that in high-asset divorces, custody can influence more than parenting. It can influence leverage, financial settlements, negotiation power, public perception. And when money, reputation, and alleged betrayal collide, things rarely remain civil. Observers have also noted the reemergence of long-standing family tensions, particularly previous skepticism from Mama Joyce regarding Todd's intentions. While no formal statements have been issued in connection to the current allegations, online discourse has resurrected past warnings. That adds emotional weight, because this divorce is no longer isolated to two individuals. It's layered with history, public scrutiny, and now a mysterious H. At this stage, nothing has been formally proven regarding an affair. No documented evidence has been released publicly. No direct admission has occurred. But the implication alone has altered the energy surrounding this case. The custody push now feels heavier. The financial disagreements sharper. The timing more suspicious. And as online speculation intensifies, one reality becomes undeniable. This is no longer just a divorce. It's a controlled unraveling happening in courtrooms by day and on social media by night. And if Funky Dineva's warning is accurate, next week may bring more than whispers. It may bring exposure. And if that happens, the custody war could become the least damaging part of this story. By this point, the courtroom wasn't the only battlefield anymore. Because while lawyers argued over custody schedules and financial responsibility inside legal documents, outside, something else was unraveling. Quietly, digitally, and far more dangerously. Because custody disputes can be negotiated. Money can be divided. But reputation? Once that cracks, it doesn't come back the same. Over the past few days, the tone around this divorce has changed completely. It's no longer framed as two adults disagreeing over parenting logistics. Now it feels like exposure. Like secrets slipping out one by one. Like someone somewhere knows more than they're saying. And that shift didn't come from court filings. It came from whispers. Then hints. Then a name. According to multiple online commentators, and again, these remain allegations, not confirmed facts, Todd may have been communicating privately with other women during the marriage. Not publicly, not casually, but quietly, behind the scenes. While Kandi was traveling for work, while she was reportedly carrying the financial weight of the household, while she was still presenting a united front. If those claims are accurate, the timeline becomes uncomfortable, because it suggests something wasn't breaking down recently. It may have already been broken for a while. Sources close to the situation say the real emotional damage didn't come from the custody battle. It came from discovery. From finding out something you were never supposed to find. Late-night messages. Private conversations. Names saved under contacts you don't recognize. And suddenly, years of trust start looking different. And that's where Funky Dineva steps back into the picture. Not yelling. Not gossiping. Just speaking calmly. Carefully. Like someone who already knows how the story ends. Earlier, he hinted. Then he warned. But now, he did something else. He implied confirmation. Because according to what he's been hearing, Kandi allegedly didn't walk into this divorce blind. She reportedly discovered something first. Something that changed everything. And right at that moment, he said this.
But the people is saying Kandi reportedly discovered that Todd was communicating with women behind her back before filing for divorce and she had no idea.
And that line hits different. Because it's not framed like gossip. It's framed like aftermath. Like the damage had already happened. Like the decision to file wasn't emotional. It was reactive. If true, that changes everything about how this divorce started. Because now it's not. We grew apart. It's something happened. Something hidden. Something that forced action. And suddenly, the aggressive custody push starts looking less random and more strategic. Think about the timing. First, alleged private communications. Then discovery. Then divorce filing. Then immediate custody fight. Then online hints about a mysterious woman whose name begins with H. That's not chaos. That's sequence. And when events line up like that, people start asking questions. Was the custody battle purely about the kids? Or was it leverage? Was the financial disagreement coincidence? Or pressure? Because in high-profile divorces, public image matters almost as much as legal outcomes. And allegations like this? They don't just hurt personally. They damage perception. And perception influences everything. Endorsements, business deals, public sympathy, even court credibility. Meanwhile, online speculation is spiraling. Some users claim the woman, allegedly named Helen, had been around longer than expected. Others say she was never meant to be discovered. No proof has surfaced publicly. No confirmed identity. But the fact that multiple sources keep circling the same initial? That's what's keeping the story alive. Because when smoke keeps rising from the same spot, people assume there's fire. Todd, for his part, has not publicly addressed these specific allegations. And silence in situations like this? It creates a vacuum. And vacuums get filled with theories. Fast. Especially when someone like Funky Dineva is sitting on information, openly saying he's choosing not to release everything yet. That's the most unsettling part. Not what we know, but what might still be hidden. Because when someone says, I could expose it, but I'm holding back, it means the story isn't finished. It means there's more. And if that more ever drops, this divorce doesn't just stay ugly. It turns irreversible. Because custody battles can be settled. Money can be negotiated. But betrayal? Public betrayal? That sticks. And right now, it feels like this entire situation is balancing on one fragile line. One leak. One receipt. One confirmed name. Away from exploding. So the real question isn't whether this divorce is messy anymore. That part is obvious. The real question is, how much hasn't come out yet? Because if what Funky is hinting at is even partially true, then this isn't just a breakup. It's exposure. And once exposure starts, it doesn't stop. At some point, every public divorce stops being about paperwork. It becomes about perception. And perception? That's where things get dangerous. Because once a relationship collapses in private, it hurts. But when it collapses in public, it turns into something else entirely. It turns into spectacle. Right now, what we're watching isn't just a legal separation between two people. It's a slow unraveling, a reputation war, a battle for narrative control, and possibly the quiet destruction of trust that took decades to build. Because here's what most people aren't saying out loud. Custody fights don't usually explode like this unless something deeper triggered them. Something emotional. Something personal. Something that changed the atmosphere inside that house long before lawyers got involved. And according to multiple online commentators and sources close to the situation, the shift didn't happen overnight. It built slowly. First came distance, then disagreements, then separate schedules, then financial tension, then silence, and then discovery. If the alleged timeline is accurate, Kandi didn't just wake up one day and decide to file for divorce. Something forced her hand. Because people don't walk away from decades, children, shared businesses, and a public image, casually. They walk away when staying becomes impossible. That's what makes this case feel heavier than typical celebrity drama. It doesn't feel impulsive. It feels calculated, measured. Like someone quietly gathering pieces before making a move. And that's where the public started looking backward. Replaying old interviews. Old episodes. Old moments where things didn't seem quite right. Because hindsight has a strange way of revealing what we missed the first time. Now fans are dissecting everything. Body language. Tone shifts. Subtle tension. Even past warnings. Especially one voice that suddenly sounds louder than ever. Mama Joyce. For years, she openly questioned Todd's intentions. Back then, many people dismissed it as overprotective parenting. Family drama. Typical in-law friction. But now, some viewers are reevaluating those moments. Not as noise, but as warning signs. Because sometimes the person closest to the situation sees the cracks before anyone else does. And sometimes, they're ignored. Until it's too late. Meanwhile, Todd's legal strategy continues moving forward. Methodical. Focused. Requesting custody authority. Challenging schedules. Positioning himself as the consistent caregiver. And legally, that approach makes sense. Family courts often prioritize stability and routine. So presenting yourself as the everyday parent? It's tactical. Smart even. But here's where public opinion complicates everything. Because when allegations of hidden communications, private conversations, and a possible other woman start circulating at the same time, that strategy begins to look different. Not nurturing, not protective, but opportunistic. Again, nothing has been confirmed. No verified evidence has been publicly released. Everything remains alleged. But perception doesn't wait for proof. Once doubt enters the conversation, it spreads fast, especially online. And that's exactly what's happening. Social media has turned into a courtroom of its own. Every post becomes evidence. Every rumor becomes theory. Every silence becomes suspicious. Some fans believe Todd is simply fighting for his children. Others believe there's more. That the custody battle isn't just about parenting. It's leverage. Because in high-asset divorces, custody isn't only emotional. It's financial. It influences settlements, property negotiations, long-term obligations, and control. Control over narrative. Control over outcome. Control over who looks like the victim and who looks like the villain. And right now, nobody wants that label. Because once the public decides you are in a scandal, it sticks. For years. Careers have collapsed over less. Brands pull away. Partnerships disappear. Opportunities dry up. All because trust breaks. And trust is everything in entertainment. But here's the part that feels the most unsettling. It's not what's already out. It's what hasn't surfaced yet. Because Funky Dineva made something very clear without saying it directly. He knows more. He's choosing not to release everything. At least not yet. And when someone says they're holding back, that implies receipts, information, details that could shift the story completely. That's what keeps this case tense. It's not finished. It's paused, like a storm building pressure before impact. And historically, when situations like this reach that stage, the next leak is never small. It's never subtle. It's explosive. One screenshot, one message thread, one confirmed identity. That's all it takes. And suddenly everything changes. Because once a name is attached, speculation becomes reality. And reality can't be walked back. So now the public waits, watching, refreshing timelines, listening to every word, analyzing every hint. Because everyone senses the same thing. This isn't just a messy divorce. It's something darker. A slow exposure of what might have been happening behind closed doors the entire time. And the most uncomfortable truth? Sometimes relationships don't end because love disappears. They end because secrets get caught. Because trust breaks quietly. Because one discovery flips everything. And once that happens, there's no repairing it. Only fallout. Right now, Kandi appears focused on protecting her children and stabilizing her life. Todd appears focused on securing his legal standing. And somewhere in the middle, a mysterious initial, H, floating like a shadow over everything. No confirmation. No denial. Just presence. And sometimes, presence alone is enough to destroy everything. Because in cases like this, the truth doesn't usually come all at once. It leaks, piece by piece, until one day, there's nothing left to hide. And when that day comes, this divorce won't just be ugly. It'll be unforgettable. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. This doesn't feel like a normal divorce anymore. This feels like exposure. Because when a marriage collapses quietly, lawyers handle it behind closed doors. Papers get signed. Assets get split. People move on. But this is happening in public. In real time. With court filings on one side and leaked whispers on the other. Custody fights. Money disputes. Alleged late-night conversations. A mysterious woman with a name that starts with H. And a husband pushing for control while rumors of betrayal keep getting louder by the day. That's not coincidence. That's collision. And the most dangerous part? We still haven't seen everything. Because if Funky Dineva is hinting that there's more he hasn't dropped yet, then what we've heard so far might just be the surface. One screenshot, one receipt, one confirmed name. That's all it takes to flip this entire story upside down. And when that happens, it won't just hurt feelings. It will destroy reputations, careers, trust, families. Because betrayal hits different when it's public. When millions of people are watching you realize the person you built everything with might not have been who you thought at all. So now the question isn't, are they divorcing? That's already done. The real question is, what else is about to come out? If you thought this was messy now, you haven't seen anything yet. Stay close. Stay watching. Because the next leak? It might change everything overnight.